It's already week 10. Man, how time flies, especially when you're having fun or miserable, whichever you are. Because the Bills are 3-5, and I'm sure that nobody expected that to happen. Maybe you did. And if you did, congratulations. But here's what you didn't expect. That halfway through the season, the Bills would have the same record as the Eagles, the Cowboys, and the Saints. How about that? If you would have knew that 8 weeks ago, you'd have been pumped. Probably. The Bills just lost to the Houston Texans last Sunday, as expected. So they fell to 3-5 on the year. They made a couple moves this week. We'll get to all that. You feel so helpless, and obviously you are helpless because you're not on the team. There's nothing that you can physically do to make this team better, and you just watch it, and I'm going to try to accentuate some of the positives, but there were a lot of negatives that came from the week. One of the positives, though, was Mario Williams. Looked better, much better. Maybe he had motivation or whatnot. I don't care. Or the wrist. Hopefully it's healthy because he looked a lot better. Bunch of tackles, picked up a sack. Dwayne Brown's no slouch at left tackle. So I was pleased by his performance. I was pleased actually by most of the defensive line. I know Foster still got his 111 yards, but that's every day for him. You know, that's no surprise at all. You know, in the first half, would the Bills make one mistake defensively, and it was by their fifth-round rookie linebacker who might or probably shouldn't be starting, but you know what? He's going to make those mistakes. The Bills bit on the play action so much, it was pathetic, but they really burned him on that one. And Bradham was just 20 yards out of position for the touchdown. But at the end of the half, it was 7-6. They were competitive on the road with, you know, who many people believe is the best team in the AFC, in the Texans. So what are you looking at? Are you thinking, are the Texans a Super Bowl contender playing like this? Or are the Bills really just better than people think? And sometimes the Bills are better than you think. Like I said, so at least it's the first loss. I mean, they didn't get completely blown out. They didn't allow 35-plus points. They only allowed 21 on the road to Houston. I'm just saying, at least they were competitive. I know you're like, spare me, Greg. Spare me the moral victories. It's like, well, you got to take what you can get. I mean, you got to take a loss, you got to look at it, see what they did right, and that's just the way it is. They didn't play all that poorly defensively. I wish Dave Wanstead. I hate seeing him up in the box. I wish he would get down on the field so when these guys screw up, he can just get in their face. Because he'll yell at you. He will. But he's up in the box, so nobody's there to do so. Positional coaches, but he needs to rally. He needs to get all these guys together and talk to them at the same time. Defense wasn't my issue this past week. You allowed 21 points on the road to the Texans. That's fine by me. I would have taken that going into the game. Offense was just not efficient. And I'm sick of back to basics or lack of execution. It was week 9. You just came off a bye week. You had 2 weeks to prepare. Now I know there's practice rules and whatnot, but you had 2 weeks to prepare. So why is execution a problem, especially week 9? Execution should be a problem in preseason, maybe the first 2 to 3 weeks. Execution it's not an excuse. Back to basics. We have to get, back to fundamentals. But you know the fundamentals of football. You've been playing it since you were 5. Chan Gailey's been coaching it for 30 years. You know the fundamentals. You know the basics of football. This is not a difficult game. It's a kid's game, really. What are you doing that's so outlandish and so difficult that you need to go back to basics? I don't get it. And especially because the Bills, at least on Sunday, appeared to run only 12 plays. What was with that? My favorite sequence, and I use favorite sarcastically, was the screen pass to T.J. Graham out to the right. I don't remember when it was. They ran a screen pass out to T.J. Graham out to the right, gained nothing, maybe 1 yard, maybe lost a yard, between -1 and 1 yards. And so what do? Go the other side the next play to Spiller. What's with that? I know, like, I'm okay getting Spiller and Graham touches, but like, come up with different ways to do it. Like, and yes, you can see where I'm driving at. That this is the first loss that I'm ready to put on coaching, because you have a game plan, and it just wasn't run well. Fitz felt a lot of pressure for the first time this season. Texans have a great defensive line. They get a lot of pressure. Fitz felt some pressure this past week. But you know what? The opportunities were left on the field. Chandler dropped a couple balls. Murdered a couple drives. But the Bills still moved the ball. It just felt like they weren't moving, though. I don't know how to describe that. I know that sounds so stupid probably, but they were moving it. It just felt like it wasn't going anywhere. And I got to put that on the coach, because he's running like I said, it felt like we were running the same plays. And I know there's an old football adage that I even read this past week. I don't know who did it or who said it. So if you read these videos and you tweeted this, hats off to you. It's better to run 10 plays well than 20 plays poorly. But the Bills don't even run those 10 plays well. Johnson had a key drop. They didn't take any shots downfield, really. They didn't run the ball. Obviously, I didn't get to that yet, but they didn't run the ball. You wanted to get Spiller and Jackson 35 to 40 touches combined, and what did they get, 19? Bills were down 7-6 at halftime and ran the ball 3 times in the second half. 3! It's your forte. Your strength is running the football. You're 4th in the league in rushing. And you run the ball 3 times, down by a point? I'm not mad that they came out with 3 passes. It sucks because Chandler's drop was huge on the first drive of the second half. Chandler drop, set him in 2nd and long. Maybe they could have run it on 2nd and 10. But obviously by 3rd and 10, they were forced to pass. They went 3 and out. That happens, but it's okay. Okay, let's get back to running the football. Because that's how you keep the defense honest. That's how you open up things. Like when you just run the football, everything just goes by so well. It goes so much better. And Spiller and Jackson hardly touched the ball in the ground game. Why did we give up on that? I don't understand. You watch Saints and the Eagles played last night, or the other night. The Eagles lost, but they get the ball to LaShawn McCoy. They kind of abandoned him in the second half. Why? Because they were losing heavily. The Bills were down by 1 score. I don't understand it. Not that the Eagles were losing heavily, but they were down 2 scores most of the way. The Saints, they keep the ball in the hands of their best player, Drew Brees. That's why they throw so much. Get the ball in the hands of your best player. The Vikings have Adrian Peterson and Percy Harvin. That's who they give the ball to. The Cardinals, they force it to Fitzgerald sometimes because he's their best player. That's just the way it is. And we avoided our best players, it seemed like. That's why I'm hanging this loss on coaching. I was still pleased with the fact that they competed. with a good team. And I think the reason most people are so down is because New England's next. And we haven't won in New England since Nam. So obviously it just doesn't feel good. Because you staring at 3-6, you think. And I can't see the Bills beating the Patriots. Why not? I mean, they could. I know because Terrence McGee's on IR now. Eric Pierce is on IR. Eric Pierce was struggling. He was struggling mightily. Now, Chris Harrison, I'm okay with him at right tackle. He might win that job permanently at right tackle. McGee, career probably over. Salute, Terrence McGee. Thank you for giving it your all, for coming back from injuries, trying to come back. He just couldn't stay healthy. But now with Aaron Williams out 2 to 3 weeks, and say what you want about Aaron Williams, they're better off with him in there, I think. Because now you're left with Gilmore against the Patriots. Gilmore, McKelvin, Ron Brooks, Justin Rogers. Who's going to cover Welker? Please, for the love of God, do not put Justin Rogers on Wes Welker again. Wow. Talk about, that was just bloody murder. Mark Anderson probably won't play. That's probably a good thing because he was playing against, now don't get me wrong, there are situations in which the Bills could use Mark Anderson. But he's terrible against the run. And Bill Belichick knows that. And that's why Ridley and Brandon Bolden just carved him up. And they're probably going to run at Nigel Bradham. He's going to have to be ready. Barnett's going to have to play way better. Shepard, way better than they did the first time they played the Patriots. Justin Rogers is going to have to be better because he's going to see the field. Ron Brooks, I'm guessing Ron Brooks is going to be on Welker. We'll see how that goes because I think McKelvin will be outside with Gilmore. We'll see how that goes. Get pressure on Brady. Mario Williams seems. Let's see if he's healthy. Run the football on offense. God. That's how you control the game. You keep Brady off the field. I mean, that's simple. Successful running game could win the Bills the game with Fitz not making crucial mistakes. He made one mistake last week against Houston. It was late in the game. He got caught from behind. He was running for his life. I don't totally blame him for that fumble. He should be holding the ball tighter, be more careful. Yes, I know, but I'm not going to hang the entire loss on him. I don't think it was his fault. He didn't do anything that lost the Bills that game. He ran the plays that were called. Remember that phrase? T.O. Just go with the plays that are called. Crazy. That was funny. I'd like to see him check out to some runs. Like his post-game presser. We have to find a way to get CJ more touches. What? Let me see. This is what you do to get CJ Spiller more touches. You're under center or you're in the shotgun and you go, we're going to use the iPhone as an object here. This is a football. And you go like that. And he takes it and then he goes. Or if you're in a shotgun, you take the ball and then you do this. And then, remember what we said about getting back to basics? This is it. This is what you do. And then it's kind of crazy, but he scoops it and then runs. That's how it happens. If you throw it to him, you use the football as a projectile and you throw it in his direction with the anticipation that he will catch it, at which point he will run with it. That's how you get CJ Spiller more touches. You give him the football. You can gift wrap it, You can do whatever you want with it. You just give them the damn ball. So hopefully they do that this week. Hopefully they get some pressure on Brady. Hopefully they contain Welker. Hopefully they win, but I don't think they will. I'm not going to pick the Bills to win this week against the Patriots. Maybe next week against the Dolphins. We'll see. But this week against the Patriots, don't see it. I see some scoring coming up, though. Like, let's see. Brady, home. Aaron Williams, out. I don't know if that could lead to more points or less points. Running the football. Bills, road. Mario Williams, CJ Spiller, not touching the ball. Fred Jackson, Steve Johnson. 38-31. Patriots over Bills. Guys, thanks for watching. Comment, subscribe, all that stuff. Enjoy your weekend. Go Bills.